Hello everyone, I'm Shin Chan, Assistant Secretary Treasurer for the Langley School District number 35. I would like to welcome you all to the budget consultation process and survey for 2026-2027 fiscal year. The Langley School District is honored to operate on the unceded traditional territories of the Matsqui, Kwantlen, Katzie, and Semiahmoo First Nations. For some context and background about the Langley School District, this district is the fifth largest school district in the province with over 27,600 students. This represents approximately 4.34% of the public school students in the province. The Langley School District's 2025-2026 amended annual budget expenses totaled $436.3 million. The Langley School District employs over 4,200 teachers, support staff, and administrators.
How are school districts funded? For the Langley School District and most districts in the province, there are three funds. The operating fund is our main operational funds. Funds are used to support our instructional programs, administration at school and district levels, as well as funds to maintain schools, facilities, and transportation, as well as utilities. The special purpose fund is provided to deliver a specific program or activity. Examples of special purpose funds include school generated funds and other ministry designated programs such as the Classroom Enhancement Fund, Annual Facilities Grant, and Learning Improvement Fund are just to name a few. Then we have our capital fund. The capital funds are used to acquire land, build or construct schools or renovate them, purchase our buses and fleet, and other furniture and equipment. The majority of school district revenue for Langley school districts comes from provincial grants through the Ministry of Education's funding allocation system. This accounts for 93% of the school district's revenue. Also, the district generates local revenue that includes tuition fees from the International Student Program, rentals, revenue from renting out our facilities, investment income, and other minor revenue sources that the district generates. The Ministry of Education uses a funding allocation system to allocate its operating grant, mainly driven by enrollment. There is a basic operating grant we receive per student. And in addition to that, there are other categories, unique student categories, that we receive funding for on per student amount.
These categories include Indigenous students, inclusive education, and English language learners, as well as for adult learners. The ministry also disperses funds based on unique district geographic factors and other factors. The Langley School District, we will receive the majority of our operating revenue, 93%, or approximately $299 million from provincial grants. Most of this is driven from our enrollment and the associated funding formula allocation system. 5.4% of our funds, or $17.3 million of operating revenue, will be sourced from tuition, primarily related to the International Student Program. Other revenues of 1.5%, or $4.9 million of revenue, will be generated from other revenues such as rental, investment, and other revenue sources as explained in earlier slides.
So how does the Langley School District utilize its funds? It can be broken down in two areas, by function or by object. When we're looking at function, we look at instructional areas in the classroom and other educational programs, operations and maintenance of our facilities and grounds. This includes utilities. Then there's the district administration portion, HR, payroll, and other procurement and finance functions, and student transportation. We can also break it down by object, where we look at different salary categories for our employee groups, benefits, and services and supplies.
To look at the utilization of Langley School District's budget, in terms of functional areas of the organization, this table breaks the budget into four main areas and uses the provincial average as a benchmark in each area. The largest functional area of the budget is instruction or teaching provided to the students in the classroom and is nearly 86% of the budget, which is higher than the provincial average of 83%. 3.37% goes into district administration, which is slightly lower than the provincial average. 10% goes into operations and maintenance, which is lower than the provincial average of 11.09%. And the remainder of the budget is spent on transportation and housing at less than 1% of the budget, which is again less than the provincial average. Looking at the Langley School District budget in another way, by object, can also be compared to the provincial averages. 90.9% of the budget goes into salaries and benefits, compared to the provincial average of 89.8%. The remainder of the budget is spent on services and supplies, which for the 2025-2026 year amounts to 9.1% of the operating budget, compared to the provincial average of 10.2%. Services and supplies is comprised of utilities, insurance premiums, dues and fees, and other services and supplies for the Langley School District. Looking further into the salaries costs for the Langley School District for the 2025-2026 amended budget, almost 60.1% was budgeted to be spent on teachers and 14.4% on educational assistants. These two areas combined amount to 74.5% spent on direct classroom salaries, compared to the provincial average of 70.2%. This reaffirms the Langley School District's commitment to allocating as many resources as possible directly into the classroom.
What is an accumulated operating surplus? Operating surpluses arise when annual revenues exceed annual expenditures. This is an operating surplus. These surpluses and reserves compile over years. How do we use these? What do we use these accumulated surpluses for? These surpluses ensure delivery and maintenance of our educational programs and provide a layer of protection for our operations against any revenue decline that may come up or unexpected expenditures. Also, these accumulated surpluses may be used for one-time expenditures that may arise to balance budgets. Boards will often internally restrict accumulated surpluses for different purposes. A few examples are for technology plans to upgrade our tech in our schools, equipment replacement such as furniture or in maintenance for fleet, any upgrades that are required at facilities in our sites around the district, student capacity needs via portables, and any other furniture needs for our schools and sites. The Langley Board of Education is committed to being responsible stewards of its resources in making budget decisions which are responsive to the overall district and which support the health and equity of our schools.
This slide shows the timeline for the preliminary 2026-2027 budget process. From January to April, we will be meeting and collect feedback from our partner groups. In early March, we will begin our public budget consultation process and the budget survey will be sent out. Also, in March, we will receive our preliminary funding announcement from the 2026-27 budget from the Ministry of Education and Childcare, based on enrollment projections which were sent to the ministry in February. In February to April, we will meet with our central departments to work on their cost center budgets. In April, we will meet with school principals to build all of our school budgets. Throughout February to May, the district leadership team will be working on budgets and providing updates to the board at the Finance and Facilities Committee meetings throughout this time. On May 26th, at the regular board meeting, the budget will be presented for the first and second reading of the budget bylaw. On June 2nd, the Langley School District will host a budget open house for the community, allowing another opportunity to provide feedback and comments on the 2026-2027 budget. On June 16th, at the regular board meeting, the budget will be presented for third and final reading of the budget bylaw. In this slide, we will look at potential budget issues and challenges for the Langley School District for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. On June 30th, 2025, all three collective agreements between the unions and the district expired. The process to renew these agreements has already begun, with collective bargaining underway with the unions representing the teachers and support staff. Population and demographic changes are rapidly changing and having an impact on K-12 enrollment across the province, and especially in our district. Significant growth in the last number of years is projected to ease, but it is becoming increasingly difficult to forecast. We are working with the ministry and with other statistical data to get the best possible information to make our enrollment estimates. Inflation issues are still having an impact on our maintenance, technology, and other supplies and support costs. Also, the impact of exempt and principal salary raises are an increase in cost, which we have not received an indication from the ministry if these are going to be funded for the 2026-2027 school year. We also are aware of rising costs in the area of employee benefits and teacher increment increases, which are not funded by the ministry. Finally, the Langley School District, like other school districts, are experiencing challenges with teacher and staffing shortages at schools and central departments, which we are addressing through various recruitment and retention strategies. This slide shows some of the key dates in the budget timeline for the 2026-2027 school year. Please keep the survey deadline of March 31st in mind, as this is the deadline to submit your valuable feedback. The Langley School District seeks your feedback on the budget for the 2026-2027 school year. To find out more, please visit our website or email your questions to budgetconsultation@sd35.bc.ca.
Thank you for taking the time to view this presentation. We look forward to your input.